Hi Year 9, Mr. Tapley here for your next lesson of Year 9 Humanities. This lesson I'll be going through the cat citizen. Hi Year 9, Mr. Tapley here for your next lesson of Year 9 Humanities. This lesson I'll be going through the civics and citizenship cat. So I'll be going through the instructions, the assessment files, where they're located, how to submit it, what the due date is, etc. etc. We're going through the rubric. That'll be the majority of what I'm doing this lesson. And yeah, if you have any questions or concerns about the cat, please let me know before the due date. If you let me know a minute before submission deadline, I'm probably less likely to give you an extension or give you any help than if you let me know a day or 2 days ahead of schedule. So yeah, that's my number one advice from this video, is ask questions, ask for help if you need it. Anyway, so the cat is located in Google Classroom and in Compass. So you can submit to either platform, whatever's easiest for you. If you're using Google Doc, probably just easiest to smash it into here. If you are an old school traditional person, then you can use Compass as well, submitting it as a Microsoft Word file. So what you need to do is open up this assignment, and you can see I've attached the instructions and the rubric. The rubric is also in Compass as well, but I'll go through the instructions first. In this cat, you will be required to construct a letter to a member of Australian Parliament discussing a global issue and our national efforts in practicing global citizenship. So what are we doing to help solve this global problem as an individual country? Using the information gathered from your research, support resources, some of the websites I've given you guys, the letter template, the dev, and of course the feedback from the dev, complete your letter to Parliament in the space provided below. Just like with the dev, I've given you a really easy to follow structure, I suppose, for this letter, just so there's no confusion as to what you need to write, where you need to put it. You don't have to use that structure. It's being offered to you. If you'd like, you can. If you'd rather do your own thing, you want a bit of creative freedom, that's fine. That's just really there as a guide to help you with your letter. Please remember to include your updated resource list at the end of the file. So after completing your dev, you might have had a few websites. Perhaps one of the things I said in the feedback was you need more information. So you need to include those updated websites in the resource list at the end here. Don't need a full formal bibliography, just the website, book, the article title, and then a URL so I know what it's called and I can read it myself. That's how you'll get full marks for your bibliography. A resource list. The CAT rubric is attached to the assignment. The CAT file has a basic structure guide. You may use the sentence starters provided if you wish. Again, any questions, please let me know. This is the due date for 9B1, so 9B3 stop freaking out, because I think you guys get introduced to the CAT on the 16th, just the way the timetable works. So you should have 2 or 3 lessons to write this up, and then I'll be sending out, I guess, overdue work notifications during that final lesson. The final lesson of the week you'll probably have as a self-care lesson, if you need it. Nice way to finish up the term, very long term, very challenging term, I'm sure. But anyway, I'll talk you through the different sections. So you've got your introduction. You'll see that it's mostly following the same structure as the dev task, nothing new really. I've just added a few more sentence starters, I guess. So you've got your introduction where you say, hello, Mr. Person, here's what I want to talk about. Really straightforward, not very long. Paragraph 1, this is where you start looking at your issue. So explain the topic, causes, key terms. So I am writing to you to discuss, blah, the issue is significant to Australia and, in capital letters, the world, because, blah. So you can talk about the impact to our nation and also the globe of climate change, of gender inequality, etc. Paragraph 2, this is where you smash out some numbers, some evidence. You can include evidence throughout the entire letter, but this is where the majority of that will be located. So it will improve your essay if in your definition of climate change, you drop in some evidence, some statistics, some facts, some examples, etc. But this is where I'll be looking for it to tick off that you have included supporting evidence research. So the consequences and the impact of your issue, and then the failure to address the issue. So what's the impact now? And if we don't do anything, if we don't act as global citizens, it's going to get worse, I assume. So tell me that. consequences, significant impact on Australia as a result of blah. Again, here I would include some data on not just Australia, but also impact to the world, because it is a global issue. Paragraph 3, is Australia meeting our global responsibilities? So this is your global citizenship paragraph, I suppose. Australia has demonstrated a commitment to this issue by blank, so that's when you put in what we are doing to fix climate change, pollution, whatever your topic is. Australia has a global responsibility to help address this because blah. So this is where you talk about it being a global issue and how, we're a member of the United Nations. Maybe we've signed a document or a treaty or a law that says we will promise to fix this. Really, this paragraph is where you do discuss those ideas of global citizenship, the United Nations. If you're struggling for this paragraph, I would type in United Nations Australia climate change, or United Nations Australia water or food security, because usually there is one or two documents or treaties that we have signed, and just including the name of that will be able to, I can tick you off for this paragraph. If blank, then we will set a national example of global citizenship. That's the other thing you can include in this paragraph is solutions to the problem. So recommendations. They don't have to be scientifical. They can be hypothetical. They might not be implemented yet, or maybe we do have a few solutions that we are doing a little bit, but we need to do more of, etc. Conclusion, again, just one or two sentences there saying, thanks mate, off we go. Now, all of that is being assessed on this rubric. Looks long, I know, but it's really just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little points, really. 6 points that you need to tick off and say, I have done this to the best of my abilities. I will also say that as you are completing the CAT, you need to look at the rubric, like every section, every paragraph, every new sentence. Make sure that you are ticking these things off. That's the most frustrating thing. I've said it before. I think I said it during the history CAT, during the essay. Most frustrating thing is giving someone feedback in the dev. They don't do anything about it, and then when they get their results back, they say, why did I do poorly? Like, well, I told you before, and it's in the rubric, but y'all weren't listening. There is a rubric for the CAT for a reason. Please read the rubric and use the rubric, not just at the end when you're checking your grades. Use it throughout the CAT to make sure you're ticking off all the right boxes. So the first thing you're getting assessed on is your knowledge of the issue. So do you understand your topic? So really you're going to get an outstanding and an excellent if you define the global issue, this global crisis, with great detail. It's all about depth and detail. So can I explain this in one sentence, or can I explain this in 6 sentences, dropping a few examples, fancy key terms that make me sound smart? That's how you get this section to an outstanding example. Second thing you're being assessed on is that global citizenship idea, which you are looking at in paragraph 3. Oops, I've zoomed over by accident. So you have demonstrated an excellent knowledge of Australia's global commitments, including analysis of Australian current policy. So really what this paragraph is saying is, 1, can you define global citizenship? 2, have you done some research to show what Australia is doing on this global issue? And then 3, have you evaluated whether or not that is enough? So this paragraph here is, global citizenship is blank. This is a global problem because blank. Australia is doing this for global citizenship at the moment, so we're doing this or we're not doing this, and I believe that is enough, or I believe that is not enough. Are we meeting our global responsibilities? That paragraph is probably the most difficult one, I would say. So if you're struggling with that, don't feel bad, because everyone is. So please let me know if you need help with that section of the rubric. Number 3 is establishing a point of view. Again, if you're just listing dot points of Wikipedia, it's not going to be a letter or a persuasive piece of information. It's just going to be some information that I could have got off Wikipedia. You need to have, just like with the essay, you're not writing a report, you need to have an opinion. You need to be making an argument. So if you are persuading me to support this concern, to improve Australian efforts in climate change, water security, food security, etc., then you'll score high on this. So again, you need to have an overall end game, an argument. You're trying to not just educate, but persuade the reader that you are right, that we need to do more to be a global citizen. Research. So that's pretty straightforward. Do you have a lot of research? Is it legitimate research? Is it relevant? Sometimes people will put in the silliest information, like they're talking about, I don't know, water security in Australia, and they say, did you know that there are over 2,000 Tasmanian tigers in extinction? I'm like, that's not even relevant to any, anyway. So it needs to be recent, reliable, and relevant information from a number of sources. You can have a lot of information that's really good stuff, but if it's only one website, then I'm not going to be impressed, because you haven't gone and shown a bit of effort, a bit of initiative to find other sources. And even if it is really great information, if it's from one person, one website, I'm not going to trust them. I need to see that other people believe the same thing. If one of your mates came up to you and said, oh, did you know that X is Y? You'd say, all right, I trust you, but I should probably get more people to agree, see if they agree with you before I believe you. And it's the same with your research. You need multiple sources, lots of information. Effective language and communication. That's more your English teacher knowledge there. That's whether or not you are writing in full sentences, whether or not you've got your proper grammar and spelling and etc. I'd hope that you'd have good spelling, because you're using, spell check in Google Classroom. Pretty straightforward stuff there. And then finally, as I mentioned with World War II, as I mentioned with economics, as I mentioned with this CAT, part of your CAT rubric is your dev, is your plan. So you'll score higher here if you scored high in the dev. So the letter template demonstrates a high level of detail through the planning process, etc., etc. And yeah, that's basically what you're getting graded on. So really what you should be doing in this first, CAT writing lesson, because the majority of you guys shouldn't have too much to do. If you've been paying attention during the unit, if you've done a good job on your dev, you're basically going to copy and paste this in, read the feedback, and then make a few changes, and then you're done. So you might not even need all 3 lessons that I'm providing this week to do it. Majority of you, though, just need to look at the rubric, read the feedback from your dev, which is on Compass, ask questions about the feedback and about the rubric, and then just makes a few changes to your dev to finish up the CAT. You're not starting from scratch. You're not writing it out by hand. You're not going in there without any notes or any summary sheets. Use the resources available to put together your CAT letter, hit submit or hand in, whatever it's called, turn in, and you're done. If you have any questions or concerns about that, please let me know. Again, make sure you know what your due date is. Depending on if you're 9B1 or 9G3, it'll be different. Yeah, otherwise, best of luck, guys. Hope you're well, and cheers.